when you're out here, when you've got a guy who has actually helped thousands, tens of thousands of agents, like legit, and really doing good work in the industry, and you're trying to tear him down, I don't think it's a good look.
Hey, make sure you check us out at therealestatechillpodcast.com. Buy your real estate merch now. Real estate merch with swag. A brand for hustlers only. Let's go!
Welcome back to the newest episode of the Real Estate and Chill podcast. I'm your host, James Chattery, Financed by James on all social media platforms, here to help you with all your residential financing needs. Here with
Kevin Iglesias, associate real estate broker. As always, it's $1 million episode. We got the $1 million man in the building, globally known, Zero to Diamonds' very own Ricky Carruth in the building. Let's go!
What an entrance.
Nice.
Please introduce yourself.
I mean, how can I do any better than that?
First and foremost, we want to say that we're so honored, so happy to have you on our platform. We appreciate you coming out to Long Island. And,
glad to be here, man. Glad to be here. Yeah, I'm out here doing an event, traveling, doing a bunch of events right now, and kind of on tour, I guess. And I mean, why not, dude? Anytime I can go do a podcast like that has a nice setup with good, a good show, I'm going to go do it, right? Because it's just extra content.
Content is king nowadays. We were just talking about that. Like, it's a full-time job. You're shooting so much content.
I do content full-time now. I mean, that's my full-time gig, like all day, every day, filming, editing, brainstorming, doing coaching calls just to create content. It's full-time. Like, literally, I'm a full-time social media guy.
Before we dive into everything that we want to speak about, can you give it like a little brief introduction of who you are for people who may not know, who've been living under the rock? If you don't know.
For sure. So I'm down in Gulf Shores, Alabama, which is right on the Florida-Alabama line, right on the beach. I grew up there. Been doing real estate for 21 years now. So I got in 2002. I was 20 years old. Grew up roofing houses with my father. And made a meal before I'm 23 through being a real estate agent, right? Then I started flipping houses, and then that didn't end well when the market crashed, lost everything, went bankrupt, homeless, sleeping on friends' couches, sleeping in my car, bankrupt, went to literally rock bottom. And that was about a year or so of just complete nothing. My friend gave me their car. It was like this beat up Ford Contour, like, couldn't open the driver door, had to get in the passenger, no speakers, had to put a boombox in the back, had to ride the brakes every time a cop went by because the tail lights didn't work. Right. It was so funny. My wife, we were dating at the time, and we were coming back from something, and we were in that car, and a cop went by, and I knew I knew he was turning around, so I rode the brakes. Right, he still pulled us over into this gas station, and he walked up, and I'm like, here's my. I was basically just holding the brakes the whole time, and he was like, your lights aren't working. I was like, I don't know. And he went back there and checked them, and he was like, they seem to be working. I'm like, yeah, they may, He was like, put your blinker on, left and right. I was just hitting the brake the whole time. He let me go, and said my lights were working fine. But anyway, man, like, I always just have fun. It doesn't matter what's going on. Like, I work every day. The moment that I quit doing real estate, I was on a roofing,
Your father's business.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, by that time he was in real estate.
Oh,
right?
He
so he actually went and worked on an oil rig. He went to the oil rig first, and then once he was out there for like a year, he got me a job out there. And so in 2007, that entire year, I was on an oil rig working every other week in Mississippi, and I was like, cool, a place to live. Like, I can stay here for a week on the trailer and work and make $5,000 a month and stuff. I was like, all right. And then I was like, I can do real estate on my weeks off. Now, this is how I'm going to get back in real estate. But that didn't work out, because when you go work on an oil rig, it takes you like 3 days to recover from working out there.
It's hard labor.
And then, like, every other week you work either 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock. You work either during the day or night. So one week you'll work 6 to 6 at night, and then you'll go home for a week. The next week you come back, you're working from 6 at night to 6 in the morning. So you have to adjust that sleeping pattern. On top of like being sore and tired and worn out. I mean, it's 12 hours like getting it. So anyway, I got laid off from that in 2008. They laid off everybody, and I got back in real estate. I just took everything I learned from losing everything, and I was like, okay, like, you ain't gonna get me again. Like, yeah, it only takes me one time, right? You tell me something once. So when I lost everything, I was like, that ain't never gonna happen again. I didn't know if I was gonna get back in real estate, honestly, in the very beginning. But then as I started to realize, like, closings don't stop. My clients were still buying, when I was on the oil rig, my clients were still buying and selling. I was like, whoa, through different agents, I'm out of the business. I'm like, that was an eye opener. And that's when I realized, like, it's about people. Like, if I'd have maintained the relationship with those clients, then I would have done those deals. But not only that, I also realized closings happen every day, regardless of what the market does. .com crash, 9/11, 2008, pandemic, whatever. Closings are never going to stop. It's Mother Nature. They may fluctuate a little bit. Prices may fluctuate. Interest rates, all this stuff may, fluctuate a little bit, but it's never going to go to zero. And when you realize that, because when you're new, you don't realize, you just think your success is kind of predicated on the market, what the market's doing. And like, you can get a push from the market, like in 2021, when we had the big year, everybody did well, and that was that was because of the market, right?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Like there's a piece of that was because of the market. There's a piece of that was because you put yourself in position and you were grinding and you had a database and stuff like that. But the market, you would have had an average year if we'd have had an average year, market wise. We had above average year, so you had above average year. And last year we had an average year. Most people had an average year in 2022. This year is going to be, I don't know. I think this year is going to be an above average year, in my opinion. But anyway, I got back in and started crushing it because I started focusing on people. Like the conversations I was having after I came back was like completely different. People were like, I could tell when I was talking to prospects that they knew that I cared about them, and I could feel that they knew that I was actually in it for, like, I didn't care if they bought or sold. And I could tell that the feeling was mutual, like that they cared about me and that this was going to be a lifelong relationship. Whereas before, right before I lost everything, every conversation was cold, close the deal, never talk to you again, go to the next one. And so that was kind of the beginning of really building a real business.
So let's talk about that, because that's the reason why a lot of agents fail in the industry, right? They're transactional based. And like you said, it's just one deal, you close it. They don't maintain a relationship with that lead. How do you maintain the relationship with that lead? Because let's say you're doing 10, 15, 20, 30 deals plus, and you're going on and on. It is time consuming. So like, what's the formula you would say for an agent to really thrive and to maintain those relationships so they don't become transactional?
Well, the first part is having the communication skill level to actually, walk away from that very first conversation where the prospect feels like, okay, this is somebody different, right? This person has a different approach. There's something different about this agent that stands out to me that I just really like. You know what I mean? If you can't create that first, impression and create that, that warm and fuzzy for them where if you can't create a scenario where you're kind of unforgettable, right? Then it doesn't matter, I don't think, what you do on the back end, because there's so many agents that do so many things to stay in touch. So like, for example, like my thing's a weekly email. So if I go out and I give them average first impression and then I do a weekly email, that's not going to be as powerful as if when I meet them for the first time and they're like, wow, this person kind of feels like above and beyond in terms of how much they care about me and what their intentions are and their genuine, demeanor, then in that scenario, the weekly email means way more.
Right.
Because like they got that feeling, and then they see your name every week, and then they never forget that feeling. And then you're kind of put on a pedestal after you do this weekly email, and you show them consistency on the back of that great first impression, and you show them that consistency and dependability, and they're like, oh, this is the kind of agent I want. I remember how I felt when I first met them. And now they're showing me consistency and dependability and hard work and professionalism and knowledge and activity in the market and stuff like that. They're like, this is my guy. And so I think the key thing is, okay, we're doing these deals. We do 15, 20 deals a month, whatever. And like next month, we're doing 15 to 20 deals with other clients. And all our time is spent servicing all these deals. We don't have time to really give our past clients this great, phone call once a month, or take them out to lunch or something like that, to give them that. And so the way that you do it, right, the way that you scale this is when you're in the deal, going over the top to make sure it goes smooth, and to give them that experience, and to give them those warm and fuzzies, and show them how much you care through your actions of handling the deal. Then they never forget that. Then something as easy as a weekly email puts you at the very top for them, because that's kind of how it all comes together. So to answer your question, it's not necessarily like what you do on the consistent basis. You need to have something in place that it hits them frequently and is very consistent. Like I do mine every Wednesday, a weekly email. Boom. They know every Wednesday, right? I got 19,000 people in the database, 7,500 open it every week and have for years. And it's literally all that I did to sell 100 properties a year. In 2017, I quit prospecting altogether, and I continued to sell 100 properties a year, just the weekly email. No follow-up, no check.
Email alone?
That's it.
Wow.
No follow-up, no checking in, no social media, zero social media, no direct mail, nothing. Just the weekly email, right? And it's because that first impression I gave people for 15 years to that point. And then, because I started the email in 2007, I have never missed a Wednesday. So they know how consistent, dependable, honest, hardworking professional I am through that. But they also got this great experience when they either met me and didn't do a deal, or maybe they did a deal with me and they're like, it's kind of like a mortgage person, right? So we're in real estate. If we use a mortgage guy and they just go over the top and take care of our clients, are we going to go try out another mortgage guy?
No, you wouldn't.
No. Same thing here. If you give them the most incredible experience ever, they're not going to risk a possible bad experience on another agent. Right. They're always going to come back to you. And this is where you can really build these lifelong loyal clients.
Customer service and communication is key in any relationship. And one thing about your story, which I really resonate with, is that people think that you've had it so easy now that they see your success and that you're a millionaire, you're doing so many deals, 100 transactions a year. But you sharing that story, like, hey, I had to struggle to be where I'm at. People overlook that. They just automatically think based off your social media that, oh, this guy's successful. He doesn't know what I'm going through. But the fact that you share all this is really humbling. And everything that you teach is all available on ZeroToDiamond.com.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, I think, with every super successful person, right? A lot of people, the majority of people see these successful people and they don't really see the 15 years. Like I did 15 hours a day for 15 years, I had to look up one at a time phone numbers, Spokio, Bigfoot.com, White Pages, Google. I had to look up each person one at a time and to call property owners. Now you can just go click, boom, and get 1,000 numbers like that. Better data than what I used to get. And then hit a dialer, an auto dial. Yeah. I had a hand dial. It took me, 15 hours of work to look up and dial 100 numbers. 15 hours. I did it many, many times. You can tell me you dialed 100 numbers in 3 hours with hand dialing. No, you didn't. I've done it several days. And now you can literally, with technology, you can do what used to take me 15 hours in like an hour and a half, 10 times faster, But
imagine what you'd be like in this day and age.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because like I could get a 2009 or 2010 Ricky day, not even day, it's 2 days, it's 15 hours. I could get 2 Ricky days back then, the guy that's going to become this, super successful agent. I could do 2 of his days in literally an hour and a half, and then still have my entire day ahead of me to go multiply, my success in other areas or whatever. It's crazy, but yeah, people don't know most successful people. I mean, I don't know a real successful person that didn't go through some seriously hard times.
So what was the initial thought behind Zero to Diamond? Why did you do it? Why do you spend so much time with it?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. I kind of ask myself that all the time when I first started doing it. So the story is, I was asked by Remax to do a speech. I'd already started writing a book. So I started writing this book back in 2011. And I like once a year I would write a couple chapters in my spare time, and I would throw it away and start over. And every time I started over, it got better and better. And then I put it on the shelf for like 3 years. And then when I got to the point where I was doing $1 million a year and I turned the prospecting off and I was just selling 100 properties with a weekly email and had all this time on my hands, and I was like, I need to finish the book, because I need to share like how I did this, because I'm literally selling 100 properties a year, working 5 to 10 hours a week on my business as a single agent with one assistant.
Wow.
And so
That's wild.
And so I was like, I got to share this story and how this all came to be, so that more people can take advantage of how simple this thing really is. So I was like, I'm going to get serious. So I started writing it again, and I was like, I'm going to finish it this time, no matter how, much I want to start over. And then I was almost done with it. And Remax asked me to speak at one of their events in Biloxi, Mississippi. And I was like, yeah. So I go do this speech. And I was in a suit. I never wear a suit. And I was the last speaker of the day. It was a full 8-hour day. There were, 9 or 10 speakers. I was the last speaker. So I'm like, I'm the keynote speaker. Never spoke before. This is back in 2016. Had a suit on, never wear a suit, just sitting there nervous, the whole time. And I got up and spoke, and I was kind of sick. My voice was cracking because I was sick, and then I was nervous. It was bad, in my opinion. And afterwards, people stood in line to tell me how inspirational it was, and ask me questions. And I was like, wow, people what I have, people really need to hear. That's when I realized people really need to hear this stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish the book. I'm gonna get it published. So I did that. That was 2016. Published it in 17. Forgot all this stuff I wanted to put in the book. So I literally, while the editor was editing the first book, I wrote the entire second book, and then traded him the edited of the first one for the unedited of the second one. Go edit this one now. And that's why there were 2 books published in 2017. So the books took off. But from there, I was like, okay, I'm going to start coaching and try to make some money on this, right? And so what happened was it morphed from a business, because I see all the other coaches, making all this money and stuff. It morphed into that to, okay, I'm just going to do this for free. And because once I got in the game of coaching, I realized what it is. So many agents need help, and so many agents can't afford coaching. And, then I started putting 2 and 2 together. I was like, I could actually make a difference and reduce the failure rate in the industry. And that's why eventually, so I was charging. I tried $20 a month, $1,000 one time, I tried so many different business models. I did webinars, I did this, I did everything. And nothing really ever hit as far as charging goes. And I would do webinars, 300 people would sign up, 100 would show up, and 1 or 2 would move forward with the product, right? And I was like, wait a minute, 300 people want some help. 100 are serious about it because they showed up and spent time, but only 1 or 2 get to actually see what I'm doing on the back end. I was like, then I was like, I'm just going to open this up to everybody and just tell, because then I was going to events and speaking engagements and webinars and podcasts. And I was like, I was having to like hold back information that these people over here are paying for, but yet I want to tell the world, you know, how to talk to people and how to be successful and how I've done all this stuff. But I couldn't, because I felt like I was betraying these people that paid me, right? So there was a lot of factors that came to opening it up for free, and eventually made that call. At the time, I had 200 paying members that I was making like $10,000-$20,000 a month, just residual. So I turned all those payments off. I told those 200, I said, hey, everything I've been teaching you guys, I'm just going to open it up for free to the world. I had a meeting with the 200, and like, I thought I was going to get kind of a little backlash, at least a little bit, but I didn't at all. Every one of them, because I brought them so much value.
It's free.
Yeah, well, but I mean, like, they were paying though.
Right. Okay.
This was the paying 200.
Oh, you're saying backlash from the people who were paying?
Who were paying?
Gotcha,
You're fixing to share everything that I've been paying for. You're fixing to share that with everybody for free now. But I didn't get that. Right. I got nothing but support and love from that group.
It's a good group to have.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what, like, you know, that's kind of like how it was born, and kind of why I took the mission statement to reduce the failure rate in the real estate industry, and why I've continued to do what I do. Every year I revamp it. So it's a 60-day challenge. It's, you know, now it's a social media platform and everything else. So every year we're fixing to have an app. We've been working on that for like a year to get it launched. But every year I go in and revamp the entire program and just get it up to date. You know, like if there's things I want to tweak in the scripts, if there's strategies that I want to add, because everything's changing so fast, you know, in the world. But that's what it is, man. And I'm going to continue to always have that platform and those programs and those courses for free, you know, open to the general public. And, you know, I've had so many agents. I have agents in that program that went from nothing to number ones in their MLS.
Wow.
I have tons of people that are in the top 10. I've got probably for sure hundreds, maybe into the thousands of agents who have reached out and said, I wouldn't be in real estate if it wasn't for Zero to Diamond.
Wow.
Like I would have quit. And so we know we're reducing the failure rate because of those messages. And, you know, now I just want to continue to push the industry as far as I can, you know, continue pushing the envelope. So I don't know, man, honestly, it's, you know, through all that, I built a huge personal brand where now I can build other businesses on top of.
Who doesn't know you?
And then,
like I said, globally known.
And then Zero to Diamond, you know, is kind of a branch of now it's more of the Ricky Carruth brand. Zero to Diamond is a branch of that, you know, and now I'm building out the rest of the branches. So it's exciting to see, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm still a roofer. You know what I mean? I'm still out here just laying shingles, trying to grind.
To build the perfect house. I mean, look, it's clear that you're very passionate about this, and that's why a lot of people don't understand on your stand on free coaching versus paid coaching, which of course you had that debate on the Broke Agent Media, right, with Byron.
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts on that? I want to ask you, like, what were your thoughts on that debate?
Oh, we're getting into it.
I thought about doing a what do you call it? Where I'm watching it, you know, back and
like a reaction video?
like a reaction video. I thought about doing one like right after because, you know, of how that went. But I don't know, man. I love, you know, Broke Agent, Eric, you know, Dan. I love those guys. But I think that like I'm empathetic towards it, right? Because I think that when you're brought up a certain way, you just kind of can't help it. You know, and I think the guy that was debating me, I think he was brought up in a paid coaching type atmosphere, and he feels like that's it. That's the only way. And so, you know, it's you know, when somebody like that looks at, you know, the unknown for them, it just seems foreign, and you know, how can that be, and stuff like that. So I'm empathetic towards it. You know, I would have loved to see some better points, you know, other than, you know, a tweet from 3 years ago, or, you know, whatever else he was trying to bring up. But I don't know. I think it didn't do him any justice, because when you're out here, when you've got a guy who has actually helped tens of thousands of agents, like legit, and really doing good work in the industry, and you're trying to tear him down, I don't think it's a good look, myself. But like I say, I accepted that because I knew exactly how it was going to play out. I thought it was funny. I had fun. And,
it was a good watch.
It is.
It was a good watch for sure.
I mean, one of the moments that I was just laughing nonstop is when the dog barked in the background, and you're
yeah. My dog, he just he'll growl for no reason, and it's just irritating,
No animals were harmed in the filming of that video. Just a little FYI.
Yeah.
So as we're going there, question for you. We're gonna hit you with the hard-hitting question that everybody wants to know. Questions. Sorry. So I'm sure you hear this a lot, and I want to hear your take on this, and I want to hear your reaction to what you say to people when they ask you this. Right. So the question of EXP: is EXP a pyramid scheme?
Well, I mean,
don't call me an idiot. I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Well, the thing is if everybody kind of pays attention and watches what I do and really follows me hard, I mean, you'll realize I'm not a recruiter, right? And I don't try to pitch EXP or try to recruit anybody, right? So I have, and I've got a huge organization there. And we provide a lot of value, but, businesses that I have to go and where basically or let me put it like this. If I have to call someone and I'm trying to talk them into something, that I'm not going to do that. Right. I only want to deal with businesses that, when I call and they see my number on the caller ID, they're like, oh yes. Cause whatever I'm calling about, they're like, I need this. This is going to help me. I'm ready to roll type thing. So that's why you don't see me, there's a lot of guys who talk about EXP on their socials and they're doing really well.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing super well.
There are benefits, clearly.
Their organization is growing faster than mine, but it's just not my focus. It's something that I do, but it's just not my focus. But as far as pyramids go, I mean, whoever, says that, I mean, it's come from a place of, ignorance, honestly, because, you've got the cliche, oh, well, all the brokerages are pyramids, and everything like that. But I mean, it's like, for me, I'm like, okay, will you please explain to me what you're talking about with saying that it's a pyramid scheme or whatever the case may be? What it is that you can take it and build your own brokerage using their platform, and the rev share that goes back and forth is cut off the top of the top line revenue of the company, and given to the agents, and it's in the form of referral fees, right? So just imagine you have, agents that you've built, you've used this platform to build your own brokerage, and EXP takes all the back end liability, payment processing, legal compliance, all that off your shoulders. You're able to expand into any market, and any agents you bring in, you collect 2 to 4% referral fee on every deal they do until they cap every year.
Hey, make sure you check us out at the realestateandchillpodcast.com. Buy your real estate merch now. Real estate merch with swag. A brand for hustlers only. Let's go!
Right? That's what it is. It's referral fees going back and forth. So scheme would imply it's illegal. Scheme would imply, there's something, wrong going on here, but it's literally referral fees going back and forth between agents. And the cool thing is like in 2021, they made $300 million as a company, right? 150 million of that went back to the agents in cash.
Wait, you said 100 million went back to the agents?
300 million, right? 150 million.
150 million,
because they get 50 cents off the top of every dollar before they pay a single company expense.
Wow.
So they made 300 million. They give 150 in cash out of that year's revenue back to the agents and monthly distributions. Out of the 150 million they have left, they pay their expenses. They have 81 million profit that year, right?
Wow.
Now that year, Remax lost money, Open Door, OfferPad, Zillow, Compass, Redfin, all lose money, lost tons of money, right? None of those companies give $1 to agents. And here EXP is, they gave $150 million in cash out of that year's revenue, not reserves built up over the years, but out of that year's revenue, and then still made $81 million in the green, right, in the positive. They're so far ahead when it comes to like balance sheets and financials. It's not even funny. There's not even a close second place. There's not even a contender when it comes to the company fundamentals and everything, but what they do for agents. And that doesn't even count the equity they gave. I mean, I've been there for 2 years. I paid them $40,000 in fees. I have $80,000 right now in equity in the company.
Double.
You know,
Through
like,
the stock share
that they give me for just selling real estate, right? I was with Remax for 10 years. I paid them $500,000. I have zero to show for that. That's just $500,000 cash I gave them. Here, I actually own part of the company. I can, you know, as the company valuation grows, my portfolio that they gave me for free grows, right? I mean, it's like, you know, it's a no-brainer for me. But again, you know, that's just speaking facts. And I think people that say pyramid scheme or try to talk down on it, I get this is why I don't recruit. I get the entire ickiness of an EXP agent calling you 15 times in a week to try to follow up with you about.
That was going to be my next
EXP,
question.
Right?
Yeah.
The recruiting?
Yeah.
The recruiting,
like,
yeah.
I get that part, right? But there's pros and cons to every company. You know,
100%.
Listen, dude, I've made hundreds of thousands, getting probably close to $1 million more money than I would have if I would have stayed in my last brokerage. Yeah. So it's a financial decision. And I've also built a community, you know, there, you know, 1,000 agents and growing, you know, we're a very close-knit group, you know, so there's pros and cons to everywhere. You have to kind of weigh them out and decide what's best for you.
That bit back to what you were saying before too, like the recruit, I think that's where it really gets like that name, because if you agree or disagree, like I feel like sometimes, because I work with a lot of realtors, I see a lot of realtors, right? I feel like sometimes people may, you know, push more of the recruiting side than focus on doing business.
Yeah.
But I think that's non-unique, because I think that could be in any brokerage. But I think that's where it comes from.
But like you said, I mean, you go to Walmart, you get one bad employee doesn't ruin the whole company. Yeah, it doesn't ruin the whole company, 100%. Just to give you like a personal experience, I've had a call. I was sitting on my couch, you know, I got a call from an EXP agent trying to recruit me. And I asked him, how many deals have you done? He's like, none. So what the heck are you calling me recruiting? Go cold call, right? Because you haven't done any deals. You should be generating income and not focusing on the recruiting side, but starting your own business and making money on that side. So again, it's there's pros and cons, like Riggy said.
I mean, the thing is that like, you know, the people that are out there just focusing more on recruiting than sales, that's temporary. Because it takes a long time and a lot of agents to build up to the point where you're making a living off of the other agents. That's why 75% of EXP agents never recruited one single agent. But why do they stay there? Because they love the culture, right? When you have a company full of agents who all own part of the company and they're not customers of the company. See, like you guys are customers of your brokerage right now. You're just paying fees in, and you're their customers and your clients are your customers. But over here, it's like we're in it with the corporation. And so it creates this totally different culture. And so that's why a lot of people that don't recruit or never even make it to the levels of being able to make a living from the recruiting stay there, because of the support, the culture, and you know, the stock benefits. I mean, you get all that regardless if you recruit or not.
Right.
But then you always have this group coming in, and it's actually gotten better and better, I think. Back before I joined, it was really bad because they were letting it go on social media, where people were literally messaging you videos and stuff left and right and just weird stuff. And like I knew about it 2 years before I came over, and I didn't come over because of what we're talking about, because I had that icky.
You had that, yeah. Bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, and it took me to the point where I had to leave Remax, like I was going to leave, period, to really take a step back. Plus, I met Glenn like a couple weeks before I came over, and realized like who's at the top and like what they're really trying. Like these are really good people. These are really great people, you know. So it kind of helped me make a decision. But it's cleaned up a lot. But I mean, it takes so much to get to that point where you're.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of agents that are doing it are just kind of dreaming, and they do need to focus more on sales. And that's why with my group, we focus primarily on increasing their volume. We have agents that doubled and tripled and quadrupled their volume from where they were coming over, because we work specifically with them on their real estate business. The recruiting is just something we don't focus on.
So I just want to clear the air real quick. To all the EXP agents that I work with, this was not a shot whatsoever. I love you. That's it. I just want to clear the air with that.
Very political. So I just want to say,
You got to be political in these times.
You really do.
I just want to say,
EXP agents won't sell your listings. Throw that out there. You could get canceled in the EXP world.
one of the things that came up in that debate that you had with Byron, which you called him Bron.
Yeah.
Somebody said, so if
Bronny.
Bronny, does that make you MJ, Jordan?
I don't know. I didn't really think about that.
Were you thinking of it in that aspect, or you just like, let me just
not at all.
fun?
No, not at all. Not at all. I just figured out to give him a funny name. I didn't really. I just, I knew how he was going to come at me. I already knew, and so, yeah, I don't know. I think when he was born, that was probably what his mom wanted to name him. They just threw the Y in there.
One thing I want to touch base on is that, which a lot of people don't do. You admitted that you had purchased followers. Now, what does that mean? Because there's two concepts of that, right? Either you buy followers and they're bots, or you're paying for like advertising and people see it more, and then people follow you.
That's not really buying followers. When you advertise, when you boost a post, and people go and see your content and follow you, that's real people and stuff. That's not buying followers. That's advertising. That's smart, right? What I did was contests. So like I did one with Dan Brazilian or Bazarian. There was one with him. There was one with Kevin Hart. I did like two or three of them, right? Where they basically say, you could, this was years ago, like where like Kevin Hart or Dan will say, hey, go follow everybody on that this count's following, and it'll be like 20 people, and those 20 people paid a lot of money for these celebrities to say, hey, go follow these people, and then they're gonna, and then like comment under here that you did it or whatever, and then they would pick winners to like win a car or win an iPad or win money or whatever. And so it was like contests where celebrities would shout out, and then these people would go and follow these accounts. So I did that a couple times. It's just testing, right? Like somebody came to me with that opportunity and was like, Kevin Hart's going to do this thing. I'm like, I want to see what that does.
So just to clear the air, they're real people.
Yeah.
Wait, I would do that right now.
Right. Well, so then it's not. The whole thing with people saying buying followers is like you're buying bots to get a higher follower account, et cetera, and then the views or whatever they came to. But what you did is a no-brainer. Anybody
it's pretty
would do
legit. But the thing is I never did it again. Right. So I did it twice. And I forget how much I spent, like 20, 30 grand. But
well, yeah, if you got Kevin Hart and Dan,
but I don't consider that like fake followers.
I don't consider either, because I mean that was very big, like shout out for shout out or whatever the case may be.
No, kind of was. But the thing is that you have to understand who these people are. So it's people who are like who will do anything to win an iPad. So you got to think about the mentality of what kind of audience that really is. But what happens is on these deals is that you get a huge bump in followers. Like I would get like 100,000 on one of them. But then like 75,000 of those unfollow me over the next year. You know what I mean? So it doesn't do your account any good. I'm always going to be trying to find a hack to get in front of more people, right? And to build my influence so that I can help more people. I'm not going to go buy bots. That does nothing. To do that is just to say, hey, I have this many people following me. I'm not doing it for the number of followers. I was doing it to see if I could get exposure to people that I could help. And it didn't work out because the people would follow and then unfollow, So
gotcha.
At the end of the day, I'm glad I did it because it actually, the cool thing that came out of it was that I connected with some of the other people that were influencers that did the same contests, because they saw my name on the list of people to follow, and I saw their name. We started DMing back and forth, and now we're connected. And it came from that contest. So there were some positives that came out of those scenarios, but it wasn't for like vanity of more followers. It was a legit attempt to try to figure out if that's a legit way to grow, to build your following. But like, just for the people watching, like, it's not a smart move. The smartest move is what I'm doing now. If people watch my social, it's posting 5 to 6 times a day on Instagram, high quality content. And I'm picking up 100 like organic, real followers a day that are seeing my content organically, that are going to my profile, liking what they're seeing and following. It's 100 a day for months and months and months now. That is the best way, honestly. And then at some point I'll have a video that really goes crazy, and I'll pick up like 30,000 followers in off of one video. But that's just a matter of putting in the reps to get to the point where, because you never know what's going to hit.
Yeah, you don't. It's just the algorithm. So one thing I want to touch base on.
Don't
that.
even.
Yes,
don't
I'm going
even.
to put you on the spot.
Oh my
I have
gosh.
to. All right, so he's on the mortgage side, right? And I'm on the real estate side. And I'll post like 2 or 3 times, maybe some days, like in one day. And he's like, "Oh, you're posting too much. You're posting too much. It's oversaturated, whatever the case may be."
I said that
You
once.
do it all the time.
I said that one
you
time.
don't post enough. This guy posts,
I know I don't post enough.
He posts like once a month, and then I'm like, bro, if you
a
want to
week now.
create
Once a week.
leads from your social media, you have to be consistent and posting and posting. So what would you say to somebody like this guy who just doesn't listen?
Now I'm just this guy. I'm not your co-host. Oh my God.
How often are you posting?
I'm posting once a week, but this year I'm creating a schedule.
Like, that's your game plan? I'm going to post once a week?
I'm doing 20. My game plan for this year is 20 posts for every 30 days.
Okay. So the thing is that, and you can do whatever you want to do. I'm not telling you what to do, or I'm not even going to tell you what I think works, because it's working for me. It may not work for you. And things may change tomorrow. So, but the thing is like with Instagram, okay, if you post at 8:00 in the morning and that's it, right? But you've got people that are following you, or even people that might have found you organically, who sleep until 10, right? You miss them, because Instagram's going to show them stuff from other people that was posted around 10.
Gotcha.
Okay. If you post at lunch, okay, but you have somebody that only checks it in the morning, and then they have a job they can't check Instagram, and they check it in the morning, you're going to miss them. They're not going to see you. They're going to see people that posted at 8.
True.
Right? And so when people look at their phones and check Instagram, you want to be there. You want to have posted very recently to when they're gonna check their phones and check Instagram. And so me posting 5 to 6 times a day, I'm doing like twice in the morning, lunch, twice in the afternoon, maybe one late at night. And so, like, no matter when somebody picks up their phone, they're going to see me. If they're following me, they're going to see me. If they're not following me, if they're just thumbing through reels, then hopefully I'll catch them there. That's how I'm picking up 100 followers a day, is because people thumbing through reels and they're seeing my stuff organically, and the algorithm's going to put the content in front of them they feel like they want to see. So that when they put my content in front of them, it's stuff that quite possibly they want to see. Then they're like, "Oh, who's this Ricky guy?" Boom, click the profile. Boom, oh, he's verified. He has great content. He's a real estate agent investor. I'm going to follow this guy. He knows what he's talking about. So that's the algorithm for Instagram. You can't post enough, because it's based on the time of when somebody's going to actually look at their phone. That's Instagram. Other platforms are totally different. You know what I mean? So
how do you come up with the, like, question from me? This is from me. How do you come up with 5 or 6 pieces of content daily?
Have you looked at my content?
Yeah.
I mean,
because they're all like, you come out with really good content multiple times a day. Like, what's your plan of action to get all of those?
So like I do content where I like sit in front of the camera and behind a green screen, in front of a green screen, and I'll film like 15 reels in a sitting. So like that process is, okay, let me brainstorm for 30 minutes, these 15 ideas. And then let me set up the shot and lighting and camera and all that. Am I going to be sitting down, standing up? What am I doing? And then shoot, right? And so I'll shoot the 15 reels. I try to do that twice a week. So I try to shoot 30 a week.
Gotcha.
Right?
That's a lot.
So I'll shoot 30 a week, and then I'll mix in clips of podcasts. So I'll mix in clips of this show. So I'll mix that in there, and then I mix in where I've got the article in the background where I'm talking about whatever the article is.
Yeah.
You've probably seen those. And then I've got the Twitter quotes that I'll post.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you mix all that up, boom,
Gets pretty easy. Okay.
And so I
That makes
know
sense.
what times every day that I'm going to post, which is different every day, by the way, based on my profile. Like if you dig into the data, it'll show you what the times are that are most opportunistic for posting. And then I'll map out what my week looks like. And I'll stick to that for like 30 days. And then I'll reevaluate the data to see if I need to switch those times around a little bit. You know what I mean? And posting at the top of the hour is the best. Then posting at like, 11:20 or 9:17 or 10:40. Post at 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So I don't know, man. Like I could talk all day about content creation. And like I was telling Kevin, that's what I do full time now. It's literally filming, brainstorming, editing.
It's full-time job. So I just want to touch base really quick because there's been a debate on if you are really answering all your DMs, and I can honestly say you are. I mean, even before we set this up, we were DMing back and forth for a couple of months, before this came into fruition. And you used to send me voice memos, and obviously it's you. It's not the AI version of you. So just wanted to put that testimony out there that you do answer your DMs.
I DM'd you like once 2 years ago, and then you answered. And then I DM'd you like a week ago saying like, hey, I'm excited to shoot with you next week. And you answered right away too. I was like, I don't know how he does it. How do you do that?
Well, sometimes when you get an answer right away, it has to be because I'm in the middle of answering a bunch of DMs. And so I'm looking at my inbox, so you must have messaged me right when either I was about to answer or in the middle of answering and stuff. So when I get on a roll, like I'm just in the zone. I'm just like answering DMs and stuff. But yeah, I get like hundreds a day. And if I let a day or two go by, I'm really screwed. Like it's literally going to be like a whole day worth of answering. But there's so much going on in there. Like there's people like, 60-70% of it's junk,
Can I turn you into cartoon?
Would you like a dope cartoon picture of yourself? But not only that, but just like if somebody liked my story, that shows up as a DM, right? And so like that's kind of junk, what I mean?
So you just
I appreciate that, and I say something, but most of it's kind of just real quick, like thanks or just heart the message or something like that. But then a good 20-30% of it is like legit, like people that need help, questions. Or it's somebody that needs some kind of customer service type stuff. Like I can't log into Zero to Diamond, or, what time is your event in Long Island, or stuff like that, Yeah. And so like right now, I'm able to keep up with the DMs still, and I feel such an obligation. Like I feel drawn to it, and it really fries my brain. Like there's days where I'm like, man, if I wasn't doing this, I could be doing so many other things. I could be using my energy towards much better things, but I still do it. I don't know. I would, Ryan Pineda.
Yeah. I saw that. I saw that podcast episode. Really good episode.
I told him I answer all my DMs, and he basically laughed at me. But I just got back from that's where I was in Vegas. I was speaking at his event. Dude, it was amazing. 1,000 people. Dude has built such a community. Shout out to Ryan.
And he built a lot of that through TikTok, right? Like
Instagram,
the community,
really.
Social media.
Instagram mostly.
Yeah, Instagram's his biggest. He did well on TikTok.
I discovered him on TikTok.
Yeah, I seen him on TikTok first, but Instagram's where he's really built a really incredible community, because you can really communicate with people better on Instagram, as far as DMs and stuff.
I have a question for you in terms of everything you just said. Where does delegation take part in your business? Like, do you delegate any of the stuff that, any of the tasks that you have, or you just try to one man like a lot of it?
So my dad's handling all the day-to-day sales right now, listing appointments, showings, negotiating, all that stuff. He handles all that. We get a lead, it goes to him, he handles it, right? Then we have an assistant that handles all the admin and all the back end, transaction coordination, MLS, setting up showings, all that stuff. So that's the real estate business. So it's really kind of turnkey for me on that side. I still do the weekly email because I'm really kind of the only one that can really make them as great as I want. Like, that's my baby. I mean, that's how we get, that's how our business is, built. And then on the social media side, I have a company that edits my reels, my short form content. As far as YouTube goes, I kind of go back and forth. I'll let a company edit a couple, and then I'll edit a bunch. So like I'm literally like editing YouTube videos. It's nuts. But delegation, where's the delegation? That's about it, bro. Honestly.
I mean,
like I set up all my events. Like I'm my own event manager. Like if I do my own event that's a 0 to diamond, I have people in place to like help me find the venue and do all that stuff. But as far as like people reaching out saying, hey, will you speak here? They're talking to me. I'm negotiating with them.
Yeah.
I'm ordering the plane tickets and rental cars, stuff like that. So I don't know. That's something I need to get better at. Like, especially being around Ryan and his people over there. Like some of those guys have 700 employees, 9 businesses doing, 120 million a year. Ryan, he's got 100 employees. There's no telling how much revenue they're going to do this year. And it kind of opens my mind up to, okay, I don't want 100 employees. Like I don't want nothing to do with that. But there's got to be a happy medium where I find people to put in place to handle certain things, especially as I start to get into other businesses and stuff, But hey, it's all coming together. I can't complain whatsoever. I'm being patient, honestly. It's not like I'm rushing out there to find somebody to take over this,
Right.
Just like somebody will come along. It's the same thing with the real estate investing. I've got so much buying power right now. I've got so much access to not only my own money to go put into deals, but also investors' money, like so much money. But I'm just kind of chilling. I'm not like rushing out to go buy stuff. Maybe I should, but I'm just kind of a patient guy and I just like to grind. So I'm just kind of focusing on the day to day. I'm really trying to focus on YouTube growth right now. Like my Instagram's going great. I've cracked that code for what I feel comfortable with. 100 followers a day is amazing. And I feel like one day I'll hit something that, like I say, takes off and get a bunch of followers in one video. But I'm really trying to focus on YouTube and making that a better experience for people that come watch YouTube videos. That's kind of where my focus is right at the second. Once I get that to a good place, I don't quite know what I'm going to do. I'm getting into workshops where I'm doing all-day workshops where I'm charging, where people can come, they can work out with me. I do all-day seminar, basically, where I teach people how to become number one in their market, everything I know about social media and real estate investing. So I'm really excited. I'm doing the first one in Orlando next week, and then in my hometown, February 10th, and then I'm putting together one in Chicago in March. But that's something I'm focused on to see if I can turn that into a real business. Another thing I want to get into that I am getting into and moving forward with is creating a program that teaches people exactly my process of creating content. The whole 9 yards of everything I do, from top to bottom, and then creating a program out of that to teach people exactly what my process is. But then also on the back end, having basically a media company that edits their videos and different things like that, and also create a community out of that. There's something there. I haven't quite figured out the details, but there's a business there that I can create that will do very well if I put it together right. So it's kind of some things I'm focusing on. But my biggest focus right now, on top of all that business-wise, is buying $100 million worth of multifamily this year in the Southeast. But I've looked at 50 deals or so in the last 6 weeks. And like, there's a big shift coming, dude, in multifamily. A couple months ago, interest rates on the average commercial loan exceeded cap rates for the first time since 2008. Rents are through the roof. They're not going to continue to go up like they have been. There's a reckoning that is just beginning on multifamily. We're going to see prices come down on these buildings. There's no doubt.
On commercial?
On multifamily apartment complexes, maybe commercial as well. I haven't really studied commercial, like strip centers and.
So you're saying like 2 to 4 unit, like that's like.
No, I'm saying like 100, 200, 300 unit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
like big multifamily buildings. Prices are going to come down. There's no doubt about it that they will be coming down. So like I'm sitting here with all this power ready to roll. I'm looking at deals like, okay, let's buy something, but nothing makes sense. The numbers don't make sense. And if an investor is going to risk their money on an apartment complex, they want a return, right? They can go make zero risk and buy a CD or a bond and make 2, 3, 4, 5% with no risk at all. Why would they go, get into an apartment complex deal, for the same or even lower in a lot of cases? With a lot of risk on the back end, there's a lot of risk right now with multifamily. So I'm excited to become more educated in that sector because I'm going to absolutely crush it.
So that leads off. Do you think the market is going to crash? That's the $1 million question that everybody keeps saying. I mean, you see a lot of influencers saying it. So many people are saying the market is going to crash.
Well, I mean, and like I'll make videos and I'll say, we're about to go on another surge or the market's just fine or whatever. And like, there's the keyboard warriors will come out and say, oh, well, it's going to crash and burn. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, that's real optimistic in the time like this and stuff like that. And they never provide any data. So like in my videos, I literally screen share the data, and I show people exactly, where it is. I'm not saying, okay, this is what's going to happen. I do say that this is what I think is going to happen. But like in real estate, what you do is like the surface level of your success is not it's only predicated on you, because the market has nothing to do with you surface level success, average success, because closings will happen every day no matter what. But if you want to become number one in your market, you want to go deeper than the surface level. And that's where, okay, once you've conquered the space where the market can't take you down no matter what, when you've conquered that and you have your business in place and you're solidified and everything's solid, well, to reach the upper echelon now at that point is to say, okay, I've figured this part out where I'm good no matter what. Now, how do I become number one? Well, at that, then to go deeper is to try to figure out, okay, what's the most certain outcome of the market right now? What's the most certain thing that's going to happen over the next 6 to 8 months? Let me build a game plan around what I think is the most certain is going to happen in the market. And if that doesn't happen, I still win because I win no matter what. But if I can make a big bet on something that's most certainly going to happen based on data, and you win that bet, then that's what could actually push your business to those really upper levels. So in the beginning, it's like you don't have to worry about what the market's doing. You just got to get your business right. But then to reach those upper levels, you have to pay attention to the market and then try to put 2 and 2 together. Okay, this is what might happen. This is literally how I became number one in my market. I could tell you this story if you guys want. But right now, what we feel certain is going to happen, okay? So if you look at inventory from 2014 to today, right, it goes like this, right? It shoots up to the moon every year, right? Literally straight line up and then straight down every year. Up, down, every single year. Even in 2021, when we had the boom and everything, if you look at inventory, it went up. Nobody's talking about that inventory went up that year, right? Nobody's talking about it. It went up and then it shot down just like it always does. And then it came back up this year like it always does. And now it's trending down. And that downtrend normally, you can look at this, you can look at Redfin data, you can look at any place that has data, you can look at this and it's the same thing. Well, normally that downtrend of inventory leads all the way into February, where it kind of starts to bottom out, and then it starts kind of coming back up. So right now we've got around, let's just say half of the listings out there that we had pre-pandemic. Half, right? And we were already low. Pre-pandemic, we're already low. And now we're like half. And now it's fixing to go down. It's, as we speak, is going down now, right? And so now it's coming down. Inflation is coming down. Right? It's been coming down since June. right? Slowly. There's not a guru on earth that says inflation isn't going to come down this year, right? 30-year fixed are directly tied to inflation and the 10-year treasury, not the Fed rate. So if inventory is coming, if inflation is coming down, right?
Rates have to come down too.
Then rates have already come down. They're like 6. I don't know what they are today, but it was 6.09.
I can say this because this is not towards a specific person. I quoted somebody a rate yesterday at 4.625 on a 15-year loan.
Yeah, 15 years are cheaper. Like the 30-year fix was like 6.09. The day before yesterday or whatever when I looked.
Even a 30-year, I put the same client with 30-year was like 4.99. Like we're back in the fours.
It's coming down.
Yeah.
Okay. And so as the 30-year fix and as the interest rates for mortgages come down with inflation, inventory is also coming down at the same time. All right. And so what happens is as the interest rates hit that level where the buyers are more comfortable with buying, they're all going to come out at once, right? But guess what? They're going to be fighting over the same house again.
Yeah.
Right. For me, it's like I can look at the trends and I can look at what's happening in the market. It's real easy to see what's going to happen. Or it's real easy to see what we feel like is the most certain, right? There's a good chance that this is going to happen. Now, over the past week, I've gotten so many messages and comments from agents all over the country that says multiple offers, more than asking price, people lined up all around the street to get into an open house, 70 showings on my listing day one. I'm talking about all over the country, so many agents within the past week, right? It's already beginning. Redfin came out and said 50% more. And then I actually Googled it to see if people were actually Googling. I Googled to see if people are Googling houses for sale. 50% more people are searching are Googling houses for sale than were back in November, which was the low. Yeah. Right. So you have this uptick of people who are searching online right now, which is going to translate into physical showings, which will translate into mortgage applications, which will translate into pending deals. We'll see an increase there later. This is going to take months to play out, right? Because I did a video and I'm like, this is the beginning of the surge. And I'm like, 50% more people are looking online for houses. And some guy was like, well, why is mortgage applications at a 15-year low? I'm like, bro, let's watch the video. I said that this is going to happen in stages. This is stage one. Then they're going to look. Then they're going to put applications in. Then they're going to you're see pending deals. It's going to take months to play out. But I think, like I said when I started the podcast, I think this is going to be an above average year.
Honestly, I'm with you, and hopefully it's a good year for everyone.
The formation of families, because the birth rate's back in the 80s, and how many people are turning 33 this year and next year and the year after is ungodful amount. And the formations of families, these aren't people that want houses. These are people that need houses. This is true demand. Okay, the formations of families in the U.S. is reaching an all-time high level, and it has to do with when they were born. Right, back in the 80s, and now they're 33, and we're going to see true demand, not people that want to upgrade because they want a nicer house, that need houses. And builders aren't building. They're down like 30-40%, so now new construction's taking a hit. And so my question to the bears is, okay, right, so let's talk about worst case scenario. Okay, where's the bears at? Okay, what give me some data, give me some facts. How is this going to crash? What's going to happen? All right. Oh, well, traditional sellers aren't really going to sell. They're sitting on, 65% of mortgages in the U.S. are under 4%, 24 below 3%. Those people aren't really, they will sell, but they're going to have to really see the house they really love to upgrade to. Yeah. It's going to take something really special to get them to sell. Most of them are just going to ride that 3 or 4% out, right? Right. You're not going to see an influx of inventory from traditional sellers. We're not going to see builders ramp up quickly. They'll get back to where but they were behind before they even started to ramp down. They couldn't even keep up, when they were rolling.
Weren't enough houses on the market. Like they couldn't get their hands on enough houses.
They had like a waiting list of people that wanted houses. So they can't even keep up when they're going 100%. I mean, they're down 30-40%. So it's not going to come from traditional. It's not going to come from builders. Okay, well, we're going to see this massive wave of foreclosures with all the layoffs and everything. Well, 58% Americans on average have 58% equity in their homes. 58% equity. It's because prices went way up, right? But the thing is prices are going to have to go way down to get to the point where they would have to sell it just to break even, much less at a loss. And you have to owe more than the house is worth in order to get into a short sale situation, right? We're not going to see that. Prices would have to go down 50. If we already right now have agents around the country that are talking about multiple offers and all these showings on listings and stuff like that. True, prices are lower than what they were. You know, it's not like we're getting 50, 100,000 more than we, like we did, 2 years ago. But it's like, where's the inventory going to come from, right? On top of the fact that even if there was this, because if people got in trouble with their house, they could just sell it and take the equity. They don't, if you have 30% equity in your house and you're in trouble, let me just sell it and, make
Cash
50
out.
grand right now, right? So that's one reason. Another reason is, on top of everything else, the elephant in the room is the government. And also the regulation on loans, how well they've regulated loans this time around and how safe of a bet that it's been. But between the banks and the government, they're not going to get into that situation like they did again in 2008. That's just not going to happen.
So last question.
Mic drop.
We're seeing so
can't drop the
many.
mic.
Yeah, that was amazing. We're seeing so many big institutions purchasing single family homes. Do you think there's going to come to a point where single family homes are going to become so non-affordable that if you're not buying a house a year or 2 years from now, that you're basically going to miss the wave because everything is going to continue to be either purchased and rented, and there's going to be more rental properties out there? Because we see it with all these firms, they're buying a lot of property, spending $1 billion on real estate. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Billions.
I think that there'll always be a market for people that want to own a house and have home ownership, and so I think builders will. I think there'll always be builders that will sell direct to consumer, just because that's a market. When these big institutions come in and buy these properties, they're going to expect a discount. They're going to want to buy in bulk, and they're going to want to buy, at these big discounts. And there's always. I think they'll all. And when you sell to individuals, you're going to get more for the houses. Right. And so I think that there's always going to be the market for people that want to own their home. And I think there's always going to be builders who want to do it the traditional way and just build individual houses for homeowners to maximize what their profits are on the back end. So, and I think that the big institutions that are buying all these rental properties, you think about where it could be in 10, 20 years, right? How much property they could accumulate by then. We'll see where it goes, because right now, it's kind of a crunch, you know what I mean? And so if these companies go out and kind of overexert, right, or over leverage in certain situations, they could kind of be in trouble, right? So if they, if they put all their eggs in a single family home basket, and then something happens in that sector, they could put themselves in a bad position, right? And so I don't think these companies are going to go out and put all their eggs in this basket. I think it's going to be just a way to diversify their portfolio. I don't think their goal is to go out and make the U.S. a rental country where there's only rental houses and nobody can own anything. I do think prices are going to be higher, in 5 years on houses. I think they're going to be higher in 10 years. I also think wages are going to be higher. I think people will be making more money. So I think it's all relative when it comes to that. But it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I think the amount of institutionally owned houses right now is such a small percentage of the total houses in the U.S. that it's not even a factor right this second. Could it become a factor at some point? Sure. I don't think it's anything to worry about. You know what I mean? It's like ChatGPT, right? People are worried about it taking jobs.
Yeah, AI.
Okay?
Yep.
Right. But the thing is when, how many people do you know that are a farmer?
No.
But back in the day,
Yeah.
every single person did something to do with being a farmer. They worked on a farm in some form or fashion. But those jobs were all taken by robots, right? They're all gone by robots. But yet our population has grown. You know, we're at 330 million people, but yet everybody has a job that wants one. Not everybody wants one.
No.
But everybody that has a job wants one. There were more jobs created. Like there were different jobs that were invented along the way. And so I think the same thing here. Like, like it may take someone's job, but there's going to be new jobs that are invented, and there's always going to be an opportunity for somebody to work, and to have a job, So, I think ChatGPT could probably do that right now. Everything that's happening in here, is. But yeah,
you might be replaced by AI. Is basically what you're saying.
Oh. What happens now?
But Ryan is Ryan. We love Ryan.
But somebody's gonna have to set it all, but it's all relative, I believe, right? As the human race advances, we're going to see advancements in different job opportunities pop up, and I think people need to be flexible with what they do. That's why I love what I do. I'm a communicator.
Yeah.
I love I can go out and basically be a salesperson for anything. Now they say ChatGPT can go out and replace salespeople now. Like they can actually have the conversations and stuff like that.
You ain't outselling me though.
So it's going to be real interesting to kind of see, how that advances, over time. Yeah. But there's always going to be, I know that there's always going to be an opportunity for what I do in the world. And I'm going to always be looking for the opportunities.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this as we were just speaking that. The field that we're in, do you think that there are parts of our industry that could be automated or be, taken away?
No, because everything that you say wasn't said yet. And so AI basically takes, it like has all the research from the past.
Yeah.
Right. And then it computes, what it thinks you might do or say, but it's not you. It's guessing at what you might do or say, but there's only one you. You know what I mean? So no, I think that, you mean like podcasting?
No. Just like real estate wise,
real estate
agents, mortgage lenders, attorneys, title, anything like that.
No, I don't think so. I think what'll happen is it'll make your life easier, just like Zillow made our life easier, right? So I used to have to go out and actually look up properties for people. Oh, you want a house $400,000 in this neighborhood and blah blah blah. Okay, and I would actually have to go search the criteria, look through the houses, pick out the 5 best ones, email them to them, see what they thought. They send me back, I like these 3, let's go look at them. That was a lot of time spent. Now with Zillow, people look on there and they're just like, they just call me and they say, hey, I want to look at these 3 houses. It cut out all that time. So it made my life 10 times easier, and I'm able to sell more property because I can spend that time I used to spend looking up properties on trying to reach out to more people and seeing what I can do to help them so I can multiply my business. Zillow made a situation where I can now multiply my business and scale my business much better. Same thing with this, I believe. AI is just going to make your life easier to be able to do your job a lot easier, to where you'll be able to actually produce more. And that's what's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing what AI is doing now,
Yeah.
But I just want to say we're completely ecstatic having you here.
Was this all the questions? I thought there were
no, I still have one.
Okay.
One more
Last
heavy.
One. I was
question.
like, where's it? When you guys were prepping me up.
Well, just to make it clear, people thought you bought fake followers, but we cleared the air. You did not buy any fake followers. You didn't give your Instagram account, the Liver King Supplements. The steroids that everybody thought that you did. So just to clear that up, because people were asking us about
that. People think I'm on steroids?
Oh, one question I actually got, I'll literally show you if you don't believe me, was how much do you bench press?
Oh, I haven't maxed out in a while, but I would say probably 3.
Jeez.
3 plus.
Damn, that's crazy. I could do that.
I did 225 like 12 times the other day. So, but I'm scared to put a lot of weight on there like I used to.
225 for 12 reps? It's like football player numbers.
I
used to be a linebacker.
Oh yeah, true.
But
That makes sense now.
I'm scared to max out because I don't want to hurt anything. You know. But, yeah.
That's
I worked
crazy.
out this morning in the little bitty gym at the Allegra.
Well, another question I had for you was, what are the 3 things that agents should be doing right now, like newer agents? Give me 3 things that they should implement into their business today.
Well, I mean,
Most important 3 things.
agents need to get the basics down first, right? As far as that the market doesn't matter. Like, you got to wrap your head around this stuff first, you know, that the market doesn't matter, right? You got to get that out of your head. You know, you got to understand how hard this is going to be. No matter, like, a lot of agents get in and they're like, oh, I know how hard it's going to be. I'm like, no, you don't. You know, you think you do. It's that times 20. And that's why you see a lot of agents quit, because they get in and they either don't know, even think it's going to be hard, or they know, but they have this expectation of how hard, and then it's 20 times harder. So, and then they start getting like, man, this is a lot tough, and then they quit. So, like, you got to wrap your head around the basics, man. And then the biggest one is that when you talk to a prospect, you should not care if they buy or sell or not. Right, when you come in contact with a prospect, a lead, if you're cold calling, if it's, you know, a Zillow lead, Facebook, anybody, referral, open house, whatever, your expectations should be 0. You know, and the more time I've wasted on people, the more money I've made. I never got a buyer agency agreement signed. I've never got anybody pre-approved before we go look at houses. None of that stuff, because I don't really care about all that stuff. I'm just trying to get to know you. You're my buddy now, right? You're the prospect, and we're talking, and now you're
my buddy too.
And now you're my buddy. And so you want to go look at houses, buddy? Let's go look at houses. Like, I'm not trying to like figure out if you can actually buy or what the deal is, because I don't really care about that. But when you get on the inside of what people are thinking about their situation, if you can get inside their cranium of exactly what it is, like, if you can get to know them, connect with them, give them that great first impression, warm and fuzzy, and then from a place of genuine curiosity, find out what it is they're trying to do and why, then it's over at that point. Then everything just falls into place. You know, whether they want to buy now or 5 years from now or whatever, it's done deal, right? And when you connect with people like that, it turns into 10 to 20 deals over the life of your career, because they repeat business, referrals of referrals. And then when you look at it like that, the referrals of the referrals of the referrals and the repeat business of all those people, it's like in the beginning of your career, like those very beginning relationships in the first year are really worth 100 deals per relationship, right? Or definitely have the potential to be like 100 deals to you over the next 20 years through that one relationship. And you got agents quitting 8 months in, they have a database of 200 by then. And I'm like, dude, you have your entire career, right? Like, that could literally be your entire career, and you're giving up. You got in this business to do it for 30 years. You're giving up after 8 months because it's a little hard. What are you going to do? Go work 40 hours a week on somebody else's business? I'm like, no, like, work this business like it's somebody else's business, if that's what you need to tell yourself. You know what I mean? But you got to understand all that first, man. Like, I can tell you the ABCs of how to succeed in real estate. It's super simple. But if you don't understand all the stuff I just told you, then it's going to be hard for you to go out there and really execute.
And go right over it. Yeah.
Right. So for the ABCs, it's real simple. Call people all morning, do social media and all your marketing all afternoon, and do a weekly email on the same day of the week forever. You're done. It's really, really, and I don't care where you get your leads from. I don't care who you're calling, where you get your leads from. I don't care about that, because people think I'm this cold caller guy. I'm pushing cold calling and everything. I'm not. I'm pushing how to talk to people once you get the lead. I don't care where you get the lead from. I just want to know that you're getting enough leads to accomplish your goal, that you know exactly how to talk to them, that the objectives are in place, right, for that long-term relationship. Because when you operate like that, you're getting your short-term business and your long-term business, right? Because if you connect with them and you're building a relationship and they want to do something now, you're going to do the deal.
Yeah.
Right? And then if they don't, they want to do a deal later, you do the deal later. So it comes down to that point. Once you get all that put together and you have your mechanism of the weekly email to stay in touch with everybody forever, now you can just scale to the moon. It's just at that point, once you get all that, it's just about how many people you talk to in your market. So then it comes down to efficiency of who we're talking to. I just want to talk to property owners. They own the exact property I want to sell. Why would I waste my time doing anything else? You know what I mean? And when you build your communication skill up to the level where you can literally talk to anyone and make them feel great and special and all that stuff, then it doesn't matter if you're cold calling or warm calling or lukewarm calling or, wah. Just go, right? Just go talk to people.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah,
so then
definitely.
it doesn't matter, right? Now it's not even cold calls.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like I love the cold calling. I just love it. You know what I mean? Like calling someone, getting to know them, seeing how they're doing a day. I don't know. People are like, oh, I don't like getting cold called myself, so I don't want to cold call others. And, I'd rather pay $1,000 for a Zillow lead. Any lead gen activity you do is literally just data collecting.
Yeah.
Right. And so like if you do Zillow, you're just getting their data so you can talk to them. If you do open houses, you're just collecting data at the door so you can then talk to them, call them and talk to them later. If you do Instagram ads, you're just collecting data. If you do YouTube, you're hoping they click a link and put their information in so you have their data so you then call them. It all comes back to the same thing, just data collection and then actually talking to people. That's how real estate works. That's the process. It's just a matter of how you collect the data. So if I have a system where I can pick up the exact people I want to talk to for a penny a piece, and I got their data for 1 penny, and it's the exact person I want to talk to, not a random person, I don't know what else is better. You know what I mean? That's just me. Again, I'm not the god of this. I'm just a guy that used to roof houses that, ended up selling 100 properties a year for a while, and now I'm building other businesses.
Well.
Mic
A
drop.
lot of gems dropped today.
Well, again, it was an honor. I mean, you gave us so much knowledge.
That was it? That was the hard question?
No. That was just a question.
Okay.
So, as you can see, there is no hard question for
That was
Ricky.
all the questions?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, okay.
we just put it like in a way that was
User
not
friendly.
so. Yeah. We're not trying to attack you or anything.
No. I get that. You guys are really hyping up that I was really going to get hit with something today.
No, that's it.
He's
All
not
right.
worried about nothing.
Unless,
Basically.
Kevin, unless you have anything else.
Would you have that debate again with Byron?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be kind of like watching, we'll see, what was a boring fight. I mean, it's kind of like really like watching like Dustin Poirier fight McGregor again. Who wants to see that? You know what I mean? Nobody really. I don't think anybody wants to see that again. You know what I mean? Would I have a debate with somebody that's more legit and that could actually, not like come at me crazy, legit, but like have a real conversation around it and be open-minded and do it for the sake of helping agents as opposed to just trying to attack somebody, then yeah, absolutely all day long.
So like a Tom Ferry debate.
I don't know Tom, but yeah, absolutely.
Free coaching versus paid coaching.
Yeah. I mean, I would be open to it. Like I say, I used to talk smack about paid coaches. I used to do content around paid coaches and stuff like that, but I haven't done that in a long time. And the reason is because I realized people that talk smack are talking smack about people that are way ahead of them in life. And I was like, wait a minute, this isn't really me as far as chasing people or talking smack about somebody, because you don't talk smack about people that are below you or behind you in life, right? People only talk smack about people that's ahead, people that are in places that they wish they were, right? And Tom has a really big brand. How he got it is unique, and I find it fascinating, honestly. But yeah, listen, just like when I walked in here and you guys said, "Oh, got some tough questions," I was like, okay, whatever. I took I took the Byron thing, knowing exactly what it was going to be, that I was going to get attacked.
You look very unfazed in the video, by the way.
I knew exactly.
What were you drinking? Coffee? Soda?
Probably water
Energy
or
drink?
something. I think I was drinking. No, I think I was drinking a Liquid Death.
Oh, okay.
Water.
Okay.
But I quit drinking and smoking back in 2014. I haven't drank a sip. I drank for 20 years. I was really wild. You know, you guys wouldn't have wanted to see me back then because I was out there.
I mean, you benched 300 plus. I don't know if I'd want to mess with you either.
I just like to have fun, you know? So, you know, those were some wild days I would never take back. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, bro, I knew what I was walking into there. And, you know, I took it with a heartbeat. A funny story, and he brought it up in the beginning. I wasn't even going to bring it up. He was like, you know, he wanted to get it out there before I said something, which I never was going to say something. He was like, you know, because he backed out on me twice on that thing. You know, he asked
the debate.
Yeah, he asked me to do. He asked me to do it twice, and he backed out
and
twice.
Backed out.
And then the third time, I was like, I'm not. You already backed out twice. I don't have time to schedule and put something in place for you not to show up a third time. You know, but whatever.
Yeah, I saw that opening statement. It was very.
I wasn't even going to bring it up. He was
8 Mile
trying.
Eminem.
He was trying to do. He was trying to throw a disclosure out there or whatever about something that wasn't even relevant. I was there, honestly, to try to get in front of more agents to really showcase who I was. I knew that would get me a little more exposure to a different audience, and let people know that I'm actually here to care about people. I'm not a fraud type deal. You know what I mean? I think they were trying to make me out to be a fraud, or at least he was. Like, Eric and Dan are great. I mean, they're awesome.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. I mean, but whatever.
Do we have your permission to label this video is EXP a pyramid scheme? No, that's a no. All right, we can move on.
Why would you even ask that?
I don't know. I think they'll get a lot of clicks.
The thing about it is that I'm not an EXP recruiter. You know?
I think it's because of the fact that, like, I think on Long Island, like, there's just a lot of people who, I think over the pandemic more, but now they kind of fizzled out, you know? But, like, over the pandemic, it was, like, a big thing. So it's, like, it kind of does, like,
people trying to recruit, you mean?
Yeah. Like, it was kind of like a really big thing to the point where, like, people were saying, like, oh, I know I'm about to get recruited, or, oh, they, like, have a countdown. It's like, oh, within 5 seconds, I know they're going to try to recruit me and stuff. But I work with a lot of agents from EXP who do not care about that. Like, they don't even touch that side of it.
Yeah.
They just like it for the company.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I'm trying to build massive businesses, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, like, it's just not like a big focus for me.
I hear you.
You know, I mean, like I said, I do it. I have a big group, and, you know, we get together twice a week. You know, it's great, and I help a lot of agents there. I use it as just an extra platform to help agents where I can actually work more closely. So I work one-on-one with all of them and this and that. But it's just like, I see bigger things, right? I see mortgage, I see syndication deals. I see this workshop thing being something, right, that could really help people. I see this media company thing that I want to do. I see that has potential to be a big company. I mean, I just see bigger things.
Well, is there anything you want to leave our audience on? You know, obviously, he answers every DM. Ask him any questions that you want. Make sure to follow him if you don't already.
Makes him uncomfortable. He's very transparent. He wants the hard, tough questions. So,
I'm sorry we couldn't give you harder questions. I'm sorry.
I don't have anything to hide is the thing, right?
Right,
when I
of
walk
course.
into this, there's no skeletons in my closet that I'm worried about somebody trying to drag out, right? And if there is something, you know, like the contest thing to get followers, I'm more like I didn't know he was going to go there in that debate, because Byron brought this up too, you know, and I was immediately like, yeah, this is what I did. This is how I do it. I mean, he was like, oh, he was so surprised, if you saw his face, that he was like, oh, I appreciate you being honest with that. Like, it threw him off so much that I didn't say, I didn't never buy followers. You know, that's what he that's what he was expecting. That's what he was expecting, but he didn't get that, right? You're never going to get that from me. You're going to get real.
Yeah.
Every single time. And that's like I'm too real. That's why my following's not as big as it could be. But then again, that's why my following is as big as it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If I was out there telling people what they want to hear, right? Like, go build your business on YouTube, right, like some of these guys, then maybe I have a bigger audience because I'm playing into the trigger word of what people want to hear. But I don't tell people what they want to hear. That's the thing. I'm like, you got to call people, like, get the leads on YouTube, but then you got to call them. Now, how are we going to talk to them? What's the objectives? How are you going to play this out? What's the long-term and short-term game plan for these leads? I'm just too real. So I'm going to tell people exactly what it is. That way I can sleep at night.
Makes sense. I mean, like I said, there's nothing that throws you off whatsoever. Just anybody, all our future guests, we always ask them, hey, is there anything you don't want to discuss? And you were like, nope.
You're just like, ask me whatever you want.
because like the things that people are curious about, I want to be out.
Right.
You know, I want, like, if somebody has questions, and that's why I was waiting on something I've never heard before. When you guys were talking about that earlier, I was thinking, I was thinking, oh, great, maybe it's a question I haven't been thrown. You know, the EXP one I've been thrown, the follower thing I've been thrown. Like, maybe it's something new you guys can dig out of me, you know, to share with people. But
I feel defeated. I feel like we didn't do our job. We should have done something like that.
No, you guys did great.
No, I mean, you just being in the room with us here and getting the cosign, you know, it means a lot to us. Because believe it or not, there's always going to be people who tell you, hey, don't do this. It's a waste of time. We got that feedback when we put that idea out there, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And they're like, why? Why are you going to have other guests and you're going to be paying for them and whatever the case may be? Because this is not cheap. As you know, producing content isn't a cheap thing to do.
People were asking why you're going to have me on.
No, not you. Just in general.
The idea of our podcast.
Like when we first started.
Yeah.
Like I said before in the beginning.
Those people don't get it at all.
No.
Like, this is a world of content, right? This is what's going to make people know who you are and get to know you, you know, and your personality and everything, you know. Have you guys ever heard of this company, EXP? I'd love to tell you guys about it one day.
It took you long enough. I'm just playing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Anything else you want to leave us off with, Ricky?
I'm good, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to come and have some fun with you guys today. And
thank you for tuning in to the Real Estate and Chill podcast with James Chaudhry and Kevin Iglesias. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, share this with your friends, your enemies, your mother-in-law. No, seriously, this podcast is so fucking good, you might want to tell your